Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Space Junkyard is this older game by Mayday Games where you're kind of flying around, you're picking up space junk or asteroids to power your ship in order to output it and kind of cover it up and score victory points. The components are really strong in this one. I like it a lot. The rules are fairly simple. You can teach this game really quickly. At the end of the day, it kind of becomes an asteroid game. Like, why are you using this asteroid to build onto your ship while you're in outer space? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So be it. It's where we find ourselves, right? The decisions are pretty straightforward. I mean, you can pretty much, within reason, move around the board however you want. It doesn't mean you can get every space that you want. Somebody might come in and take the space that you want. But, I mean, you're not going to get screwed too much by the tile placement. It's really neat how you push them through to the sides, too. And you'll see all that in the flow of the game. There's some neat things that are going on here. The negatives for me is that it's just kind of ho-hum. It's kind of bland. Even perhaps aged a little bit. I don't know that this game holds up in this day and age. If you're really looking for a light kind of tile game that's abstract to some extent, but has easy rules to understand and it's really about scoring points, then this might be a game that you like. There's a little bit more going on with exchanging the points and some of the icons on the game that makes it a little bit harder than it should be. I almost feel like this game should be a little bit easier. There's not a whole lot of meat on the bones here. For me, it doesn't have enough to bring me back to the game. I think it's a solid game. I mean, absolutely that it works. I think there are even going to be some people who really like this game. It just isn't going to have a place in my collection. I'm going to purge this one. I'm just looking for something a little bit different in the game. Now, mind you, space themes are not my favorite. So I don't want to say you have a point against you with a space theme, but it's not going to be a point for you. It's not going to draw me into a game. Even so, I just think if I'm going to play a space game like this, I'm going to want something a little heavier like a Zaya. I would never compare this to Zaya. I'm just saying I think I would like something a little heavier like that. This little abstract going around and just kind of producing what you have. I don't know that it's going to strike a chord with me, and it didn't. So this one's going to be a purge. I'm going to get rid of Space Junkyard, although I am going to say take a look at it if it does interest you, that it just doesn't fit me. That's not a statement so much on the game. The game is still pretty good. It's just not going to fit into my collection. Here's the box for Space Junkyard. This is a Mayday game. I actually kind of think that the box actually tells you what you're going to be doing in the game a lot. Once you play it, you kind of look at this, you kind of maybe don't have an idea what's going on, but once you play it, it's a pretty good representation of what's going on in the game. So good job there. That doesn't always happen. You're going to get a rule book. It's a fairly good, easy rule book to read. It's got some pictures in it that's very good and easy to follow. And there's some variants in the back that you can utilize. Overall, pretty good job. You're not going to get any kind of insert, at least my copy doesn't have an insert, so I'll set that aside so I can show you the board. One thing I will notice is that they took the time to put some graphics on the back of this. So this is the cover, an extended version of the cover, but not in color, which is not quite as exciting as the game board itself, which is just a spreadsheet here. We're going to be placing tiles. You're going to get these little neat little blue wooden bits. Look kind of like clouds, but they're junkyards. And these are really nice wooden pieces. You're going to get some, what I like to call lightning. I mean, the components in this are really good. And if you don't like the game, the components definitely could be utilized in other games. You're going to get some red shards of space junk that you'll be using. And you're going to get 4 of these plastic chunky ships in different colors. I bet you these, I don't know much about painting, but there's a little bit of detail to this, but you want the colors to be out. And these are plastic ships. You're going to get a giant bag that will hold the tiles. Now these are one of the starter tiles that you'll get. It has some information on it. And then there's a ton of tiles inside here. And I'll show you some of these. It did take the time to do some graphics on the back. Once again, you're going to get the cover of the box. You can see they're very colorful. A lot of information going around. It's not that difficult. Some blank ones. And these are very thick and very easy to use and very nice. You don't have to worry about these being ruined. You don't have to worry about them chipping or anything because you're drawing them from this humongous bag. The rules for Space Junkyard are fairly easy to understand. You know, you're gonna move around the board, you're gonna pick up stuff, or you're gonna be able to exchange it. Where the game gets a little complicated is the lack of a player aid, because you can't see what all the icons do. After playing a couple rounds, people should pick up on this, but that's going to keep it from like that gateway category, is the recycling and some of that stuff. It just takes an extra second. But I think a player aid, if you print one out, may make this into a gateway game. That little thing just not being created or produced with this game can hold it back just a little bit. Hopefully you can find something online that can print that out. Otherwise, the rules are pretty solid. I didn't have any problems with them. If there was any questions that came up, I would say an okay rule book. So this is how the board will look set up. You'll put the 36 tiles out at random, and the ships will go in each of the 4 corners. You will also start out with your own little beginner ship. And what this means is each round you will produce 1 yellow, and you have the ability to store 2 red, 2 yellow, and 2 blue. What you can do on a turn is you can move 1 to 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. If you want to expend an energy, you can move up even more spaces. You're allowed to pick up 2 asteroids that you go over. So let's say, for example, I was here. 1, 2, 3. I could either pick up 2 asteroids, and all this means is that I get these resources. I would get 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 blue, additional red, and additional blue. So in this case, I'd pick up 1 yellow, 2 red, and 2 blues. That's 2 asteroids. Or I can pick up 1 that's not an asteroid, basically. One of these that would be added to my ship. If I wanted to add this ship to my ship, depending on how I wanted to do it, in this case, I would have to give up 1 yellow and 1 blue component. Keep in mind my storage capacity that I have here. Now, different of these ship parts will do different things. In this part, I get 3 victory points. Down here is how much I can recycle. So if I want to give up the spot, I can do so and retrieve this amount of goods. And your ship will continue to grow as the game goes on. When your turn is over, you will draw a tile from the bag, and you will add it to the board. I'm going to put that one aside because that's a special one. And you will add this to the board by pushing everything else down. Now, sometimes you'll push things off the board, sometimes you'll fill in the spaces, but that's pretty much how it works. You're going to move around, get your resources, or add to your ship, and you're only getting the resources to add this to the ship. This is how you're going to score victory points in the game. Some of these are better, like this one is very intense, has some recyclability on it. It has a lot of different connectors and the victory points. You need to fill up all the sides if you want to get those victory points. So you kind of take a risk on what you're able to fill up. If you see this one, it has 2 connectors in order to score the victory points and some recycling there, but no storage once again. You continue to add tiles until there are no more tiles. Everybody gets 1 turn. You're going to score. You're going to lose a point if you don't fill up all the sides. So this one, for example, if I didn't have any sides here, I would lose 1 point for not connecting all the sides, and then 1 point for each side. So this tile would be -5. If I was able to connect 1 side, I would lose 1 point since the other sides are not connected, and 3 additional ones for these sides, so for a total of -4 points. If I connect all of the sides, I would get 4. So you want to be very careful about not getting these 4 connectors at the end of the game. Very easy to play. It's really just kind of move around, get some resources. If you can convert it in, and you want to try to connect as many sides of these tiles as possible on your ship, you need a little bit of room to the side because your ship will continue to grow over here and get larger. Very simple little resource game if you're looking for something to start out with. who should buy this game? I would say this game is for anybody who likes the space theme. I think you're going to start there. I think it's a little bit of an abstract game, but it's not one of those mind-bender abstract. It's just, I don't know that everything makes sense in the theme of why you're picking up the Space Junkyard and then upgrading your ships like that. I don't know. It's really a game where you're just trying to figure out how to score victory points. Is it too late in the game for me to go for a 4-point victory because you got to cover up all the sides of that tile? Or I need to go for a 2 because it's so late, or early in the game, maybe I'll try my luck with a 4. At the end of the day, you're just kind of moving around and picking up things and hopefully utilizing them. I think anybody who is looking for a lighter game, who likes the space theme, who wants just something maybe to start a space-themed night out, this will hit that bucket for them. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you to play this one before you buy it. Take a look at the flow of the game, see if it's something that would interest you, and I think you'll make that decision on your own. This is not one that I'm going to make that decision for you.